Hi and welcome to Bakemas Day 10, the last day of Bakemas.
Thank you all so much for watching Bakemas this year. If you have been here for more than one video, let me know down in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. We're ending strong with a really yummy drink mix. It is an English toffee cappuccino mix. For this recipe, you are going to need a food processor. I have my mini one here. Because I just have a mini food processor instead of a full-sized one, I'm going to be pulsing my ingredients into a fine powder in batches. To mix them all together, I have a big bowl here. I have 2 cups of powdered milk. You can use non-fat powdered milk. I have whole powdered milk, and I'll leave a link to that down below because I've never seen it in any of my grocery stores. This is already in a really fine powder, so I'm not going to put it in my food processor. The first ingredient I'm going to grind up is 2 ounces of instant espresso. So mine is very large granules. You can buy some espresso, instant espresso that is in a fine powder. It doesn't matter which one you get. If it is already in a fine powder, I will just dump it in with my milk powder, but because I have larger granules, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in my food processor. Go ahead and pop that into your bowl. And the reason we want to grind everything into a fine powder is so that when you go ahead and use your mixture, everything dissolves in the boiling water. So I didn't pulse this long enough to get it into a fine powder, but that's okay because the instant espresso will dissolve in your boiling water. Now, when it comes to our toffee pieces, they're a lot bigger. I don't think they would melt super easy in boiling water, so I'm going to be really diligent about making sure these are broken down really well. Our next ingredient is a box of instant butterscotch pudding mix. Mine is a 3.4 ounce box. Then we have an 8 ounce bag of English toffee pieces. I'm going to grind these up. In goes our ground up toffee pieces. We're going to add a half cup of French vanilla powdered creamer. I have 1 cup packed brown sugar. You can use light or dark. I just happen to have light today. I am going to pop this in my food processor. Now, your brown sugar will dissolve in boiling water. Lastly, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. Our author of this recipe, and I'll be sure to link that down below for you guys, uses Dutch process, and I'm using Hershey's Special Dark because that's just what I use in my day-to-day baking. Go ahead, if you don't have a big food processor like me, that I don't have a big one, we're gonna go ahead and whisk this entire mixture all together. And don't be afraid if you didn't get everything really ground really finely. If you need to take this back to your food processor and do it in batches to get everything really fine, go ahead and do that. I think it will be definitely worth it for either you if you're keeping this mixture for yourself, or if you are giving it to someone else. It just makes it more enjoyable for them when they make it. So there's not any big clumps of toffee just hanging out in their drink. Who knows, maybe they'll like the crunchy texture, but don't be afraid to take a little extra time to get this nice and fine. And just note that sometimes your brown sugar might attract other things to stick to it, and so you might have some little lumps. But once you have everything mixed together, get yourself out a wide mouth quart-sized jar. And it's really handy to have a wide mouth canning funnel. If you don't have a canning funnel, you can take some foil, fold it, and shape it into a cone shape, or take a plastic or paper disposable cup, cut the bottom out of that, and it just makes transferring the powder into your jar a lot easier. And I'm going to spoon it because pouring it, I predict would be a very, very messy situation. I'm getting the feeling that I'm gonna get 2 jars out of this, which is just fine. And you can absolutely use pint-sized jars. This makes a lot of mixture. So if you want to, instead of giving this to 1 or 2 people, split it into smaller jars, give it to 4 people. Or you could just cut this recipe in half. It would be a little difficult because this calls for the full box of butterscotch pudding mix, but you can measure out your pudding mix, cut it in half, and maybe save it for later, especially if you don't need the whole batch right away. And there you go. Again, I'll leave everything linked down below for you guys. If this cappuccino mix sounds delicious, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to Recipes with Ray because there are more delicious recipes coming in the new year. And if you want to check out the rest of Bakemas 2024 episodes, go ahead, click here for the playlist, and I'll see you guys there.